remember that they're changing my voice. Now, keep in mind that I'm a lot more intelligent than the average American, the son of two doctors, one a brain surgeon. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The Santa Cruz Police Department has publicly admitted that gangstalking is real and that they have many cases, and that before, people started being stalked in person, there was a lot of, cyber stalking and cyberbullying that was being reported to them, and, the sextortion and so on and so forth. There's also a lot of human trafficking, which usually involves a lot of organized stalking ahead of time. So when we see these kind of government-looking people, government assets, shady-looking people, saying that, hey, these people are crazy, it is very alarming. We have to ask ourselves, are these people pedophiles? Are these people, human traffickers themselves? They work with the CIA to traffic, like they work to bring in drugs. Why couldn't they win the war on drugs? Why aren't they winning the war on human trafficking with their massive network of informants? We have to ask ourselves these questions, or we're not decent human beings. There's really no other way to look at it. So when I see these different sites, Vice and Into the Shadows and so on and so forth, in fact, this is a response to the Into the Shadows channel. We must know that what they're doing is very indecent, very uncivilized, very immoral. They're very heartless for doing it. They may as well be holding the gym. I mean, think about the logic itself. So you can prove my logic is wrong and that it's unfair for me to say it, then I'll take this video down. But what they're doing is like tantamount, it's the same as holding a child down to be abused themselves. Because to play stupid about the root causes and the processes involved in the human trafficking is to be part and partial with it, is to be part of the problem, is to be part of the systematic process of these despicable crimes. So as I see it playing out, and I see society's apathy, their sheer indifference, their lack of remorse, their inability to correct themselves, like it says in the Bible, that when they're refusing the correction and instruction from God, that made them guilty. Because not to act is as much of an act as to act. And one who's slack in his work is brother to one who destroys. So we know for sure that when people go on record and get thousands, sometimes millions of views, and say that people who are reporting being stalked using technology are crazy, okay, and they cite the expected disinformation operatives, the guys talking about, freaking aliens and crazy stuff like this, that doesn't mean anything, There's people who have been raped who think they were raped by aliens. Do we then throw out all the testimony of rape victims? That's sick, right? Especially when we know that those things take place on a daily basis. So when we see the Justice Department statistics that says that there's 1 million cases of group stalking every year and it involves law enforcement on record. And we see that there's like 4 million cases of stalking and something like 10% of them are members of law enforcement. I mean, it's pretty serious here. I mean, we live in a society where law enforcement is leading the charge to commit crimes, corporations and law enforcement. And nobody really, has the heart to really think about the deeper implications of this irrefutable fact. When we look at the statistics, okay, these people are stalking and raping with impunity every single day. And it's not just them, okay, it is teachers at school we see on the news, and they're confessing and everything. So it's a fact. We see, the social controllers basically sign up for the job like people in the churches are notorious for, so they can have access to vulnerable individuals and take advantage of them. There's no other way to look at it. When we see society turning their back on me and scrambling to support people like Epstein and Keith Rainier and Allison Mack and Weinstein, it is clear cut that bad judgment is the problem here. So now I'm going to give you a saying that you should write down. Okay, the perspective, the argument, the philosophy of the most righteous man is worth more than everyone else on the planet's put together, because the proof is in the pudding.